We're dead. All right, good evening, everyone. Roll call and declaration of conflicts of interest.
Councilmember Abram.
Here and none.
Councilmember Bixel.
Here and none.
Vice Mayor Moniz is not present. Councilmember Phillips.
Here none.
Mayor Bublak.
Here and none. Moving on to the approval of agenda as posted or amended.
So moved.
Second.
Motion is second. Will you call that roll, please?
Councilmember Abram.
Yes.
Councilmember Bixel.
Yes.
Councilmember Phillips.
Yes.
Mayor Bublak.
Yes, passes on a 4-0. All right, it is time for presentation on roads. Mr. Bezej, road doctor. You're bringing backup?
Yes, of course. Good evening, Mayor and council members. Tonight is our second presentation on Gear Road Rehabilitation Project. Last year, we held our first public information meeting, received comments from the public, and then came here for a similar presentation to you. Now that we are in final stages of design, we are doing exactly the same thing. Last month, we had our second public information meeting, went over the status of the project. We are here to basically present the same information to you, ask for your input, your comments, and try our best to answer your questions. With that, I turn this over to Ed Noriega. He is with Mark Thomas and Company, our design consultant, to go over the presentation.
Thank you, Fred. Good evening. So, like Fred mentioned, this is the presentation that we provided to the public about a month ago. So it's about the Gear Road project, which is a really important arterial through the city. It goes north-south from central Turlock all the way to the north edge of the city at Taylor Road. The agenda for that evening was to go over mainly the project, the objectives, talk about the existing conditions, and then the proposed improvements. But more importantly, as we progress, to talk about the construction packages for the project and how we're going to manage construction to lessen the inconvenience for the public. Then we discuss the project funding, then the schedule. Project objective mainly was to fix the pavement, fill in some sidewalk gaps along the corridor, making it ADA compliant for the pedestrians out there, as well as to check to make sure that the project is consistent with the city's active transportation plan and the general plan. We're currently in the green box in the middle, which is the environmental document and final design. We intend to finish that here at the end of this year so that the project can begin construction next year. 2026. Existing conditions along the corridor, everyone's aware, distressed pavement throughout the corridor. There are some drainage challenges along the corridor. Turlock is really flat. There are some curb ramps, curb returns that are not ADA compliant that need to get fixed, and some uneven sidewalks as well as some missing sidewalks along the corridor. This map is rotated to the right, so north's to the right of it, Golden State Boulevard is to the left, Taylor to the right, and the yellow line that you see in the middle is Gear Road. When we did our investigation, we recognized that we don't have to fully reconstruct the entire corridor. It's really resurfacing of the pavement south of Canal to Golden State, then north of Calaveras to Taylor Road, resurfacing the road pavement still in good condition. However, in the middle, it does need to be reconstructed. Pavement's in really bad condition through there. Along the corridor, the sidewalk gaps are more to the south end of the project shown there on red. And we also noticed that there have been some bike lane striping already along the corridor in the newer portions up there in the north end. This is a typical section of the existing corridor where the main thing to look at is that there's 80 feet of space from face of curb to face of curb. That's how much room we have to work with, and the right-of-way width for the corridor is 110 feet. In the city's general plan, for new construction for roads such as a major arterial, it requires a 126-foot width, right-of-way to right-of-way, with 96 feet of width from face of curb to face of curb. That's wider than the existing 80 feet that's out there. So we can implement this general plan, but what that means is that we're widening the road, reconstructing a lot of sidewalk out there, and even acquiring every single right-of-way from every single parcel along the corridor. So the appropriate and practical way to go about implementing the general plan is to figure out a way to keep it the improvements within that 80-foot face of curb to face of curb. So with that, what we did focus on is to make it consistent with the city's ATP, the Active Transportation Plan, is to implement the bike lane. That's the bike lanes that are missing along the corridor. So it is a buffered bike lane that's in the general plan, and what that means is there's marking that you see there on the image that showed up there. There's marking on the pavement between where the motorist will be, the traveling, or I guess the main line there, and the bike lane. So it's a distinct feature to make it a little bit more safer, is really why it's in your ATP and your general plan. What that does, though, as we implement the bike lanes, is that it does impact areas where you could park along the corridor. These green lines on here are on-street parking along the corridor, where some of them are marked for parking and some are not, but we've identified them as an area where you could actually park, and those will be impacted. Mainly where the schools are. So across Stanislaus State, along the west side of Gear, there's parking that's marked up there that would be impacted by the project. That parking there won't be any parking on street with this project. Then there are residential areas on the south of Pedras there, shown there in purple, that would be affected because of the parking being impacted. There are traffic signals along the corridor. We are converting those, the detection from loops to cameras, as the city's trying to modify those signals across every single time they have the opportunity with these projects. Part of that, of the electrical equipment out there, is applying rapid flashing beacons there are 3 crosswalks that aren't protected by signals. And so with this project, we have rapid flashing beacons to inform the driver that there's a crosswalk, they're about to approach a crosswalk, and there might be pedestrians in the roadway. Another set of improvements would be the southbound left turn lane southbound towards Golden State will be extended, trying to maximize that. It's a dual left right now that stacks up quite a bit into the through movement, so that's much needed. Then in the northbound direction, making a left onto Monte Vista, that's also being extended to allow for that stacking to stay into the left turn pocket instead of into the through movement. For construction packages, we've set up the project to have 3 packages so that the city has options in how to bid this. We're going to either bid it all together or stagger it, mainly because this will take multiple years to construct. So construction package 1 from Golden State to Hawkeye is one package, and construction package 2, Hawkeye to Monte Vista. The goal right now is to combine those packages and get those bid out together. However, the city has the option of including the 3rd package, which is Monte Vista North to Taylor. So the city has options here in the next over the next month to make decisions on how to package it up so it can be bid. So this is just a graphical illustration of what packages 1, 2, and 3 look like, and the years that we are anticipating them being constructed. So package 1 starting here in the spring, summer of 2026 into 2027, and soon after that, towards the end of that construction, if the city decides to bid package 3 separately, then the timing would be that it would get bid so that they can, as soon as the first two packages are complete, then they can continue to bid the project. And the important thing to think about here is also the inconvenience to the public. That's why we're trying to package these things up the way we are. So again, with the inconvenience to the public, it is a major arterial through the city. And so we can't just close this road down and construct it. It would get a lot of calls if we were to do that. So the plan is to maintain one lane in each direction at a minimum and construct the corridor in stages. And this particular typical section here shows where the work will be done on the outside first while traffic is maintained in the middle and the inside lanes. When that's completed, the work will be focused in the middle and work on those medians while traffic is shifted out to the outside with the new constructed pavement. But what we don't want to do is plan that for the entire length of the package. So what we're trying to do is also limit the contractor's exposures so that they're moving up the corridor on a block per block basis, where in this particular slide, this shows the construction work that we're proposing to the contractors to start from Golden State to Star Avenue. So small segment where you'll see the shifting of lanes. Then when they're complete with that segment, they can move up the corridor, and this goes from Star to Hawkeye. So that would be construction package one. And we're going to do that throughout the corridor. One of the elements also is to make sure that for pedestrians, they're aware which sidewalks are being worked on, which sidewalks are closed, so that they don't have to circle back because there's not enough signage out there. Another element is controlling speeds out there to make sure that we'll work with traffic and to make sure that the speeds are controlled through the construction zone so that for safety reasons. A key element of this, especially in the commercial areas, is access to driveways. So we're including in the plans to make sure that the contractor is making the public aware which driveways are open during construction, especially for commercial, the retail areas out there and offices, to make so they know which driveways are accessible if they have to visit that area. Project funding. So on the screen there, you'll see the cost, the engineer's estimate for the three different packages. Funding for it is, as you're aware, is through Measure A, but also supplemented with the STBG grant, Surface Transportation Block Grant, which the city was able to secure about a year ago, $4.8 million. But the city's also trying to secure an additional $2 million, which we should be notified here in the next few months whether the city received it or not. From a project schedule perspective, the first box here is the activities up to this point from when we started in September 2023 to the fourth bullet down there, final design, which is what we started in summer of 2024, and we're now here trying to finish up the plan so that it can be bid. Had the public meeting about a month ago to inform the public of the slides that you just saw, and now this evening presenting those to the city council, so that the goal is to move forward to bidding here at the end of this year or early next year, so that city can begin constructing this project next year. This is just slide at the public meeting. We reminded everyone that there were comment cards available if they had any comments, suggestions, questions, or anything like that, and an email with our public outreach firm that helped us organize the meeting. With that, that's the end of the presentation.
All right, thank you. Questions?
Yes. Could you clarify on the slide with the rapid flashing beacons what that's gonna look like? Because I know, like, I think southbound on Gear near Calaveras, there's like one overhead one. How is it gonna compare to that versus something that's like on Lander, in Hillmar, in front of the school? Where does it fall on that spectrum?
Yeah, for this particular project, because it's an arterial where you have 2 lanes in each direction, if there's space on the edges, we're recommending the overhead a mast arm on top over the roadway, so there's a flashing beacon right above, so that it's notifying the public, or
And-
the driver.
And signs, there will be flashing signs mounted on the poles.
So when a pedestrian hits the button, flashing lights will go off.
Flashing lights,
It's
and also the
extra.
overhead beacon to basically attract attention.
Like on the
And
pole.
the Hillmore
Yeah.
that you're referencing, that's a different system, 1 or 2 steps beyond this, and that is a hawk system. We looked at that here, but that means you have to stop traffic 2, 3, sometimes 4 minutes. And I don't believe that's going to sit well with anybody on this corridor, so.
Another question, there's been a lot of construction happening on Gear, not through the city's doing, but with PG&E work. And they eventually moved their construction to nighttime. Was that nighttime restriction going to be part of our big package?
We are
too?
not going to have nighttime construction, and we are not going to use plates on the road. So the only time that we would have anything during the night, perhaps if we need extended hours during the day, go beyond 5, 6, or even 7 o'clock, just to allow the paving operation to be completed. Otherwise, there is no construction at night. There will be a lot of noise, and especially the equipment that we are going to use, very heavy equipment, large equipment, a lot of noise and vibration that would reverberate at night especially. So we looked at that, we decided against that.
I see. And then, one more, it's just a comment, because you and I had an offline conversation about the bike lane and the loss of parking along the university there. I know that's heavily utilized. And, I just want to let everybody know that city staff worked as hard as they could to try to come up with a solution so we could have a really safe bike plan and also try to maintain parking. And it just, it wasn't going to work out on this spell, but I hope that future collaboration between the university and the city, we can come up with a way that we can have parking and have a great bike path.
Just for the public's edification, one of the 2 reasons is the noise, that you don't do it at night, and the other being that if you're going to do it in the winter, you have weather conditions that are important. You have a certain temperature.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. There are temperature restrictions for asphalt work. So, and as the temperatures drop, you just don't have the opportunity to do that. And nighttime work generally is not as safe as daytime.
Any other questions? Thank you, gentlemen. Appreciate it.
Absolutely. Thank you.
All right, this time is set aside for public participation. You have 3 minutes. There's a timer there, timer here, within the subject matter of the jurisdiction of the city council. I have 2 cards here. We'll start with the first. Karen, welcome.
Good evening, council and the city of Turlock. And I am the current president of Turlock Senior Citizens, proudly. And we just want to thank all the combination of all the entities in that came together to rectify as good as we could, as quick as you could, and the safety concerns that we had for our seniors and anybody that comes to the building when it's raining, nighttime. Any senior needs all the help we can get. And so they did a great job painting, highlighting in areas that just seemed to be a problem. And man, you guys got on it. The water has been extra heavy lately. For the most part, it did really good. But when it's so much rain and so hard, so fast, you just got to bear with it. And we need it, so we'll deal with it. And I just want to thank everyone for all their time they spent to make this a better place for Turlock.
Thank you. Mr. Fisher, that was all on you, buddy. Okay, Milt?
Good evening, council, staff, community members, Milt Treeweiler. And again, I have important information to share with you. The prime farmland in the Turlock Irrigation District is a natural resource that cannot be replaced or mitigated because of its unique nature. Its quality soils, its water availability, and its good climate. There's no other farmland like this on our earth. There's a major shortage of sustainable prime farmland and water in the world today. We now know that here in the San Joaquin Valley, we will need to remove almost 1 million acres of farmland south of Stanislaus County from food production because there's not enough water to irrigate it. Council staff and public members, we have many things to be concerned about today. We have to be very careful about who we listen to and what we believe. There are people here in Stanislaus County and Turlock that are plotting to destroy the future for our children and our descendants. As the council and staff, you must be strong and do the right thing and save the sustainable farmland north of Taylor Road for our children and our descendants. There is an abundance of poor soils and wastelands in California and our nation for the developers to build houses on, like the Altamont Pass area. There's also the large landmass area west of Patterson along Interstate 5 and east of Fairfield along Highway 12 all the way to Rio Vista. We also have the entire states of Arizona, Nevada, Utah, New Mexico, and Colorado for the developers to build houses on. In Turlock, we must build up and not out on our city's infill and blighted area. Council and staff, you must never allow the sustainable prime farmland north of Taylor Road to be developed. Not in 10 years, not in 20 years, not in 50 years, not ever. Yes, I said not ever. Because there is no other sustainable farmland like this in the world. The farmland north of Turlock is fully economically developed, producing food for our state and our nation. We are adults and parents, and we have an obligation to do what's right and best for our children and descendants. We must all be good stewards. How could educated and caring people be so cold-hearted and irresponsible to want to destroy the best farmland on earth? You don't get a second chance. Once you turn sustainable prime farmland into housing, you create a food desert. Council, staff, and community members, we must all be committed to saving this irreplaceable farmland for our children and descendants. And I realize that not everyone has children, but you all have descendants. You have nieces, nephews, and cousins. So we all have descendants that we need to be cognizant of. We need to be sure that they have plenty of food for themselves. Our ancestors did that for us. Now it's our turn to do that for our children and descendants. Thank you.
I have no other cards, but I'm sure there's people who want to speak. So, is there a hand of anybody who wants to speak? Bob?
I'm not sure. Something got changed on the weeks I was missing here, but are we not allowed to comment on the road program that was up before? Because I didn't hear anything saying for public to speak on that. And I did have a question on that. Looking at that financing, are we paying $21 million to redo Gear Road? Approximately $7 million for each of those 3 years? Thank you.
So, Mr. Puffer, there's on the thing, it showed the person you could contact. We also had a public meeting, so everyone had an opportunity for that. So if in the agenda packet, you should be able to find that to make a contact to Dan's City, something, it was on there. Next person, anybody wishing to speak? Okay, nobody? All right, we're gonna close public comment, and we're gonna move on to Dr. Borrego's fun time as city manager.
There's a lot going on. A couple things. One, the City Hall is currently displaying art from the senior citizens on the walls outside. The craftsmanship will be on display until January 13th. So I hope you'll take some time to, thank you, to take a look, and thanks for the artwork. We have some openings on the Planning Commission, Parks, Arts and Rec Commission, and the CDBG Community Grant Selection Committee. If you're interested in becoming more involved in your community, applications are available on the table just outside the council chamber and are due by November 30th. And I would say this is the opportunity for those of you who want to get involved and be a part of the decisions that go on related to those items. We're in the middle of the holiday season. I think at least it feels like the middle of it. And I just want to remind you that we've got a great campaign on Discover Turlock going on that's, I know I'm a little bit behind, but last time we had 350,000 impressions of people looking at the Discover Turlock ad campaigns going on, and we just want to encourage you to shop at the Monte Vista Crossings, Gear Road, shop all of Turlock, and thank you.
All right. Consent calendar. At this time, if there's anyone wishing to speak, they have 1 minute on any item, they can tell us what it is. Anybody wishing to speak on any of the consent items?
For the record, I have a conflict of interest with item 8C and did not participate in the review.
You have it, or Mr. Petrolakis?
Mr. Petrolakis.
Fair enough. So you'll state it. Okay. Thank you, Sarah Yonan, Attorney Yonan. Okay, so is there a motion?
Move to approve the consent calendar.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Will you call the roll, please?
Councilmember Abram?
Yes.
Councilmember Vixel?
Yes.
Councilmember Phillips?
Yes.
Mayor Bublak?
Yes, passes on a 5-4-0. There are no final readings. We have a public hearing adopting the procurement manual and first reading of ordinance amending Turlock Municipal Code Title II, Chapter 7. And Finance is going to speak. Moneyman, what do you got?
Thank you, Honorable Mayor and council members. The item I have before you is a long-term project been working on for some time now. The procurement manual is a citywide document that we utilize, not just from purchasing things, but also transparency into how we work and do our services. In addition to that, it also gets us in compliance with federal guidelines as well as state and local guidelines. So the overall information, just to give you a little bit of magnitude, the document we currently, since revised in 2005, it's a document about 40 pages. And a lot of that is actually, a quarter of it just forms and things of that nature. We've gone now to a 93-page document. Yes, I'm not going to go through every page because I'll save you a little bit of time. But I do want to go over the highlights and what we're producing today. Some of the clarifying documents in itself. It's clarifying the acting city manager, which has been talked about different times. The overall ordinance itself is very silent, so we cleared up some of that language. It incorporates, again, state and local guidelines. It does get us in full compliance, which our auditors are here today. They're very happy to hear. So going into some of the next steps is develop award protest procedures. We never really had formal ones when it comes to like their RFPs documentations, although on the construction side, they do have some. We're really formalizing the whole thing and unifying throughout the city. It also gives clarifying documentation or guidelines for local preferences. So within our current processes, we have about 3%. We're extending that to now 5%. When we do things of this nature, it's really trying to get money back into your community, make it a fair process for larger vendors and smaller vendors within the city overall. It does clarify exemptions of the bid process. Let's help staff expedite process. A great example is software. A lot of times you'll go through softwares and going out to bid doesn't make sense because everybody's a little different in different ways, right? So they all kind of make some determination of why this one's better or why it's a sole way and that. So it's really back to the department to make a justification of what fits best and what they're trying to accomplish. It also incorporates language that's going to be coming up shortly is our new procurement process where the bidding procedures are going to go online. So not only does it get us in compliance from state regulations, but it also updates our policies and procedures on how we do activities today so that we can move forward. That's all my presentation. If there's any questions.
That's it?
That's it.
Question?
I mean, unless you want me to read 93 pages, I'd be happy to.
Okay, with that, we have no questions here. We'll open it to the public. Anyone wishing to speak on this item? Okay, we're going to close public comment and come back. What is the will?
I will move to approve, and I just want to say thank you for the work on fixing all of these things because it's I think it's going to solve a lot of problems and it makes a lot of things more clear. So move to approve.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Will you call the roll, please?
Councilmember Abram?
Yes.
Councilmember Vixel?
Yes.
Councilmember Phillips?
Yes.
Mayor Bublak?
Yes, passes
Thank you.
on 4-0. Thank you, Director. All right, action items. Item 11A is going to be with Quake Technologies and Harkson's up. Greetings.
Good evening. Tonight, the fire department is requesting council approval for the city of Turlock to enter an agreement into a pioneer-level program with Quake Technologies Incorporated for the purchase and implementation of a see-through technology for augmented reality firefighting systems that we wear on our firefighting helmets. Firefighters are regularly entering into some of the most dangerous, disoriented environments imaginable. Heavy smoke, low visibility, up to zero visibility at times with high heat and steam, and rapidly changing conditions within conditions in buildings. We want to make sure that our rescuers are able to search and rescue and create these operations and complete these operations in extremely hazardous cities. Jesus, I probably should put my glasses on.
It's more
I'm
hazardous
literally
reading.
holding them here in my hand. Wow, it's a whole nother world. And extremely hazardous operations. Quake's see-through technology directly addresses these challenges while providing real-time visual augmentation, edge-powered thermal imaging, and enhanced situational awareness, allowing firefighters to see literally see through the smoke, identify victims faster, and navigate buildings and structures more safely. This technology has already shown significant potential to reduce the response times, enhancing firefighters' safety and improve outcomes for the public we serve. By securing a pioneer-level contract, the City of Turlock positions itself as a forward-thinking community that embraces innovation to protect both its residents and our first responders. The Turlock Fire Department has been chosen to be one of 10 fire departments within the nation by congressional recommendation to participate in this pioneer program. This agreement will give our fire department early access to cutting-edge technology, tools, training, and support, and long-term partnerships with benefits of the Quake technology. With that, we have some of our friends online from Quake, and we're going to go through a couple slides here. And I'm going to introduce Sam Kosman, and I don't know if I'll be able to pull him up, but I'm going to pull up the next slide, and he's going to talk about some of the Quake technologies, the proprietary stuff, and the benefits that it really brings to our firefighters. Some of this technology, there are other products out there that kind of have a blend of this, but this is one product that brings all this together in a very unique way that becomes very user-friendly and puts it in a format that puts it right literally in front of our firefighters' eyes. It's very similar to a technology that we see like on TV in the firefighter aircraft, where it puts like a heads-up display right in their eye, and they can see that technology. But it also kind of maps out the room with thermal imaging. We can kind of get some thermal imaging and kind of see where things are. But this is going to outline it, and you'll see this in this next slide. If I just tap it. Okay, perfect. All right, with that, I'm going to introduce Sam. If you can just unmute, I think we'll probably be able to bring you right in here. Go ahead, Sam.
Great. Yes. Hello, everybody. Good evening, Mayor and Council. Chief, thank you so much for having me on the line today. I unfortunately can't see the presentation, but I can speak to it and certainly introduce myself. Are you sharing your slides right now?
We are, Sam. We have the Turning Blind Firefighting into Precision Response on.
Okay, great. Well, if I may, I'll just give a quick introduction of myself. So my name is Sam Kosman. I'm the CEO and founder of a startup called Quake. For the last 10 years, my team and I have been developing this capability called See-Through. It started off as a project to lead expeditions into active volcanoes with National Geographic. And when firefighters heard about it and realized that it had tremendous potential to save lives for firefighters, we transitioned to that use case and began working with the Department of Homeland Security. One of the things that caught my attention back in the day was that the tools that firefighters are using for us, to save our families, our pets, our property, really haven't changed in 40 to 50 years. And when you look around the rest of the world, you see advancements in technology all over the place. Fire has really been left in the dark, and that's really kind of what this slide speaks to. The threats that firefighters face have evolved. They continue to evolve. You have less time to get out of a burning building today than you did 40 years ago. And when you're in there, whether you're a citizen in your own home or whether you're a firefighter that's going in to rescue you, you're being exposed to toxins that are many, many times more dangerous today than they used to be. So the importance of getting in and out of fires more safely, more quickly, is critical. So what our team has done is taken some of the advancements of other industries and combined them in a way that works for the operations of firefighters, namely by dropping a heads-up display in front of a firefighter's eye that allows them to see through the dark, through smoke, to be able to rapidly get in and out of the fire in half the time, while transferring that signal out to the incident commander, who up until recently was only able to communicate over a radio and never had eyes on what their folks were seeing. And the combination of all of these things, plus being able to communicate visually into the heads-up displays, allows information to be shared a lot more rapidly on the fire ground, and ultimately can be used in training as well to improve the efficacy of what firefighters actually train on, so that when they use those skills, they can apply them much more effectively. So I'll just comment a bit on the Pioneer program. The Pioneer program was really born out of a $10 million contract that was secured with the Department of Homeland Security. Homeland Security recognized that there are some significant capability gaps across the United States emergency response community, namely being not being able to see, not being able to communicate effectively, not being able to navigate. And the big reason for this was that no one had invented a tool that could be taken into the extremes of a fire and survive and provide the kind of compute that you would see, on a self-driving car in this world of AI that we live. So we brought all those things together. DHS funded it, and over the course of 14 versions of iterations, 22 field trials, and now a large national field deployment program, we gathered a lot of operational insights and launched the first production-ready version of the product, which led to a request for us to identify cities who met a certain profile, who were of a certain size, that were representative of many other communities across the country that would benefit from these types of capabilities, but also who had the appetite and the leadership mindset to be able to shape a new set of capabilities for firefighters that really, would take firefighting from an old, antiquated industry into the future, which not only would save lives, property, but also more effectively make use of resources. And so we were introduced to the city of Turlock. We read a little bit about the history of the mayor, her background in law enforcement, public safety. We learned about some of the other programs that were in place, and we're very impressed with kind of the general kind of blueprint that is Turlock. And so we spent some time with the team and recognized Turlock as being a key representative to bring these capabilities and really shape this new tool for the rest of the nation. It is an AI tool, meaning we have as much compute on this device that would live on a firefighter's head as would the compute on a self-driving car. And with that comes the ability to consistently stream new advanced AI capabilities to the firefighter over time, so that the system continues getting smarter. And it's not just a tool for firefighters to be able to get in and out faster. It's also a tool for the city to be able to bring life-saving capabilities to its citizens. I'll pause there for just a moment to see, Chief, if you have any specific thoughts that you'd like to relay. But we're certainly delighted by the opportunity and honored by the opportunity to bring Turlock into the fold on the national stage, to be able to shape an industry that is so infrequently benefited from and driven technology, truly at the cutting edge for the rest of the country.
Yeah, perfect. So some of the things that we would like to add to this is, one of the things that we really like about this is what we call it's a visual communication tool. So like Sam expressed, a lot of stuff as an incident commander, you're out there fighting the fire blind. You are the one that's giving orders. We have the firefighters who are inside the buildings. They see that. They have those visual cues and all these types of things. Where us as the ICs, we're sitting outside and we're trying to forecast, not only actually mitigating that incident that we see before us, but we use an acronym called PACE, primary, alternate, contingent, and emergency plan. So those ICs are building out, if this doesn't happen, or this doesn't start to change, then what? And if that doesn't happen, then what? And then what? What this does is it helps to provide a tool for them as somebody who's sitting outside of these structures. We can actually start seeing, hey, there's times we're prompting guys on the radio, hey, what I'm seeing out here isn't what you're telling me on what I'm seeing on the outside. What this is going to be able to give us the tool is a tool to be able to kind of see, like, hey, what I'm seeing out here is kind of consistent with what you guys are telling me in there. More importantly, one of the things with us kind of being a forestation department, while we do have our MST resource sharing partners, one of the things that's really going to help us do is when we struggle with is what we call large area search. And so for us, when we start getting out into the West Side industrial area, we have some large warehouses that are very difficult to search. These tools are going to be able to help us to execute those searches in a much expedient fashion. But what we like about this is it puts it back in the IC's hands. And because it does have a cloud-based format, we could literally be sitting here watching fire crews battle a fire. If we have the correct credentials, we could log in and watch them engage in an interior fire attack right now, if that was happening right now. So it does brings a lot of with this partnership. It brings up some leadership, some training opportunities, but it also kind of gets us out there and really helps us to bring the Turlock Fire Department to the cutting edge of some technological advances, and share some information with some other fire departments across, and build those relationships across the nation, and share those challenges, but also those build those relationships. And that is kind of a picture here. Basically, this is the products that we're looking for. The camera snaps onto the very front of the helmet right here. It's actually there's three components. There's a bracket, but on the front is the visual command area, and the back part is a battery. We tried these. They're balanced. They actually wear pretty well. It actually wears better than a helmet that I used to have that was a city issue helmet that I really struggled not wearing. So those are the big things that kind of really led us to kind of really lean in pretty hard on this. Granted, technology is a big thing, and there's two things that the fire department doesn't like and firefighters don't like. One of them is change, and the other one is things the way they are. So as we start navigating these things, it becomes really a very, we have a tendency to vet things and look into them really hard, and from what we see from this right here, we'll really like it. So with that, does the council have any questions?
Questions?
I do. So you just ended your thoughts with vetting. Did the Turlock Fire Department have an opportunity to assess any of the other players in this market? And I'll put the caveat on there. I understand that they are the sole source for this particular combination of things, but it does appear like there are other things out there working in the space of advanced visualization for fire departments.
We did not look at any other products out there. This one has come to us by way of a congressional recommendation, and what we do like about this product here, and which we haven't really talked about as part of the Pioneer program, is we are beta testing it, and at the end of this program, this company is going to come back in and they're going to refresh all of our equipment. So whatever technology and information is gained, and Sam, if you want to jump in on this here in a bit, what they're going to do is any technological advances that are made to this platform, at the end of our contract, they're going to refresh our equipment, and we'll receive whatever they're referring to as at that point as the version 2, and our equipment will be brand new at the end of the 3-year contract. To look at any other programs, we haven't really looked at anything out there that kind of found these very unique characteristics that we saw here. There are helmets out there that have thermal imaging and do have some video stuff on that. We didn't really find anything that had the whole command structure, but if you would like us to go out and look further, we can absolutely entertain that.
I can speak to that a little bit if it's helpful as well.
Yeah.
Sure. So, our company has been at this for a little while. Where many of us are former firefighters. We deeply care about this problem space, and honestly, if there was someone else that had created this already, we probably would have spent our time doing something different. But unfortunately, there were some physics challenges that prevented folks from being able to take a supercomputer into a fire, which were very difficult to solve. So we spent about 10 years doing that, and that's, I would say, probably the most unique aspect of this product. And what makes it so unique is that if you take a computer into a fire, it will normally turn itself off just because it's so hot inside there. And what Quake has pioneered and patented extensively is many of the applications that will come off of that benefit, but also just the ability to do that in the first place, to take a supercomputer into a fire, have it be able to deliver AI, computer vision, machine learning, and those types of capabilities. There's really no product on the market that can do that today, or not even in development that we're aware of. And the things that are unique about what we're bringing together is the ability to provide computer vision. So taking a raw thermal image, which sees through smoke and darkness, and synthesizing it in real time in a way that makes sense to the human brain under stress, with something called edge detection that we've pioneered. So vision, navigation, which we're developing an indoor location tracking and mapping system that is kind of the holy grail in the fire service. Again, it doesn't exist in the market today. We have navigational features that will be the first of their kind and a long roadmap of new things that we'll be rolling out on a continuous basis. So navigation is very key, and then being able to stream the video from the inside to the outside so that commanders can have real-time insights like you can in many other industries, unfortunately just not in the fire industry, while also being able to communicate bidirectionally with folks. So the ability to kind of bring all those things together is what makes this, this product unique. And I can speak with conviction that there is really nothing like that out there. It is a sole source product, and we're honored to be able to play that role. I hope that when we are successful, long term, and this becomes a requirement, just like the air that firefighters breathe, that hopefully there will be many other folks that are contributing to that ecosystem and providing lots of optionality that maintains a level of competitiveness across the industry. But for right now, it is truly unique.
Other questions?
Yeah, I mean, so 3-year partnership, where do you see the pricing of this 3 years from now? I mean, I don't know a technology that hasn't come down in price, and do you see this, I mean, if we're one of, you said 10 cities, I think?
Correct. Yeah, Sam, do you want to talk about the guaranteed pricing?
Yes. So there is long-term pricing. So just for clarification, we are, this product has gone through many different versions and it has been tested extensively. But of course, this is the first iPhone, if you will. And the way that we are looking at these 10 cities as true partners, we don't really think of ourselves as a vendor. Although certainly over time, perhaps the relationship will develop into that. But from our perspective, we are being particularly choosy about who we bring into this program, because it really does set the stage at a national level for kind of this new capability that will hopefully make its way into the hands of the 29,000 other departments around the country. It is extremely important for us that our key partners, among them hopefully the city of Turlock, get grandfathered into some long-term favorable pricing. So that is actually baked into the contract to ensure that the pricing is kind of ensured that Turlock continues to maintain the benefits of being among the first. And to the chief's comments earlier, one of the key kind of, I wouldn't say this is the primary reason for why folks are participating. It's more of just a side benefit, is that each of these partners will actually put this product into use, and inevitably we will be getting tremendous feedback around things that they like, things that they want to add to it. And so we'll continue making changes, improvements, updates, both along multiple dimensions on the hardware and the software. And so one of the commitments on our side to the city of Turlock is to provide a refresh, which is a significant investment for our small startup, but to make sure that those who are truly leading from the front, as Turlock would be doing in this particular case, would benefit from the latest and greatest and not be kind of left in the dark simply because they were among the first to really lead the nation. So I think the advantages just from a pricing perspective are that as pricing does come down, there's long-term pricing guarantees that are built into this, and there's a refresh that would essentially be a free upgrade at the time of a V2. And of course, the software will consistently improve with free updates along the way fairly regularly.
Other questions? Sam, this is Amy. Could you share with us if there is just maybe one save and what would have happened differently had it not been a save?
Yeah, that's a great question, Amy. So the technology for the last many years has been, in a state of development. For the last year or so, it's been in a national trial that was all being used in the training environment. As of about 4 months ago, our pioneers began coming online, and this was kind of at the behest of a number of mayors and congressional offices. So we have begun shipping those initial units to our key pioneering partners. Those units are all still in training. Today, we actually launched Orange County, Florida, which is a town of about 1 million people. It's one of the larger departments that are a part of our program, larger cities. So all of these units are currently making their way into the wild. They're on I would say that they will be actually getting used in real live working structure fires within the next 4 weeks. But what I can speak to, while they haven't actually had any saves, simply because they haven't actually been put on the line just yet, given the timing of the program, We were, and this is a sensitive subject, but we were at a town in Georgia who was part of our DHS program several weeks, about a month ago or so. And while we were scheduled to deploy their DHS pilot on that particular day, we were called off because unfortunately they had encountered a line of duty death. The details can be found online, but the gist of it was that a younger firefighter went into a large area, kind of as Chief was describing, a not uncommon scenario where a larger property had become engulfed. That younger firefighter became separated from his crew. Of course, they were using all the necessary gear that they would normally use, including handheld thermal imaging cameras. They don't have the smarts of a system like this. They don't have any navigation. Unfortunately, the rescue team was sent in to help identify that individual. That individual had 22 years on the job, very experienced firefighter. He became separated from his group and unfortunately was found not far from the doorway, had run out of air and succumbed to his injuries, leaving 5 children behind. And I think it's, I would like to think that with a technology like this, given what it does, that situation could have ended very differently. Of course, we'll never know, but I think many who were close to that situation have brought that, they brought that to our attention. So I'm truly, I believe that in the not so distant future, young firefighters will have a hard time imagining how fires were ever fought without a tool like this, much the same way that they think of the air that they go on, that they carry on their back. And there was a time not that long ago when folks were questioning whether or not that was a good idea. Of course, now it's law required and no one would think to go into a fire without it. And I think we'll see a very similar outcome with this. It's exciting to think that a handful of forward-leaning cities and leaders as yourself could be among those to kind of truly set that cadence and usher in a new era of first response. And clearly the work that you're doing in other areas of your public safety initiatives, I think speak to the mindset that exists already. And that's one of the things that got our attention.
Okay, any other questions from council? All right, so we are going to open it to the public. If there are questions asked, we'll ask you to answer after we close public. Is there anyone wishing to speak on this item?
Yes, I'm sorry I wasn't able to look at the agenda to look at this in detail, but I see a price of approximately $300,000. And what you've described to me sounds like something like would be $3 or $4 million. So I'm kind of trying to put this $300,000 into perspective as to what we get from the $300,000. And is that all we're going to be paying for this? So what are we getting with the $300,000 that's listed on the agenda item? And what will it cost us if we want that more of those in the future? Is this one unit? Is this one for every firefighter? I don't understand. So please clarify that. Thank you.
Anyone else wishing to ask questions or make a statement? Yes.
Good evening. I had a quick question regarding the AI use for this. As AI advances within however long we have, like 5, 10, 15 years, have we discovered any more advancements to this? Are there any more advanced steps that we can take within this investment in this product to be able to further the technology for it and maybe make it even better than it seems it already is?
Thank you. Anyone else? Okay, we're going to close public comment. Come back for the cost and what we get for it.
I'll take the cost. So the cost for $300,000, it does seem very reasonable, but part of the Pioneer program is the heavy discount that we're getting as part of being the part of the Pioneer program. So I agree with you, Milt. I think it seems like a very discounted rate, but for that price, what we are getting is we're getting 16 of the units of these units right here. So it is a complete unit, a helmet, the camera with the backup, or with the battery pack and all that stuff. It is command tablets. It's 3 command tablets that will be available to the incident commanders and available for interaction with these. So this is an interactive platform, so information can be pushed and received via the helmets and through the command tablet. They can send information, the IC can send information back to these helmets and communicate with them. It includes the training, the setup, and all of the initial rollout of the product, and any product support that we need. I apologize, I probably could have included additional more of the stuff as part of the presentation, but I was trying to keep it a little bit narrow, but it does include warranty. Firefighters, we are in very high impact in situations, so there is a discounted replacement if we actually destroy one. They don't have record of anybody destroying one. They do have records of firefighters attempting to destroy them, but thus far they don't have anything that has basically just completely destroyed one, short of probably maybe somebody driving over the top of it. That's what we get. And then in the event, what this will do was this will provide one unit for every one of what we call our seated positions on the fire apparatus. So in the city of Turlock, we have 4 fire apparatus. And we have a daily minimum staffing of 3 personnel on each one of those fire apparatus. And then we'll probably give one to the BC. So our BCs do have some interactive roles as they roll outside of the city limits in resource sharing with our resource sharing partners. And then there are days that we, depending on our staffing pattern, we do have our staffing fluctuates. So we'll have a unit available for those people whenever we do have a day that we have a firefighter that may be on it's additionally signed to a rig. AI is out of my wheelhouse. I know a little bit about it, so I'm going to let Sam tackle the growth of AI and the possible innovations that could come out of that. So,
Chief Parkson, before you switch tracks, can you discuss the ongoing costs? You mentioned the refresh and upgrade, but the service.
yeah. So after the refresh, ongoing costs would be $65,000 basically, and that's the maintenance of the software program. So as we're outside of the 3-year contract, we would have to then re-enter back into a contract with them. That includes the air cards and all this stuff because there is a cellular service in these, and that communicates. So that part of that is a subscription fee that covers that. So it would be an ongoing cost of $65,000 outside of the 3 years.
And then Sam.
And then Sam, AI.
Yes, and great question. Thanks to whomever asked that. Obviously, AI is changing at astonishing rates, and it goes without saying that what we will be able to do in the future is, there are things that we can't even imagine that we're going to usher in with this new capability. The things that we can bring in the near to midterm, are for instance, navigation. Navigation right now, what we can offer is to be able to point someone back towards the side they came in from. But one feature that we're working on right now that is part of an AI pathway will be providing turn-by-turn guidance in GPS-denied environments, which many have asked for as long as the fire service can imagine, and knowing what level you're on, because folks just don't know where they are inside the structure, and their commanders don't know where they are inside the structure. Another example, given the toxicity of modern fires, given modern structure fire pollutants, is something called exposure tracking that would be able to track the types of exposures that firefighters would encounter. The number one reason for line of duty deaths amongst firefighters today, sadly, is cancer. And when folks get cancer, they spend a lot of time and energy trying to justify exactly where they got it, which is an unnecessary step. Of course, there are many states that have presumptive laws, but even those are difficult to work through. So being able to use AI to approximate, estimate, and create a career diary of exposure is a great application for AI. Likewise, on the command application, obviously being able to see what a firefighter is seeing is one piece of the equation, but being able to extract object recognition from the scenes based on what a firefighter is doing, what a firefighter is seeing, things like, if there was a victim laying on the ground that a firefighter might have missed in this blacked out condition, the AI on a future feature would be able to recognize that there was a human in the frame, draw the commander's attention to that, so that firefighter could be communicated to go back to someone that they might have missed. And likewise, obviously we built this first and foremost for firefighters, and so a lot of the capabilities that we're talking about today are very much geared towards, the life safety of and operational efficiency of firefighters. But by the same token, there's never been a device that has been able to capture all this information inside the fire. And so with that comes the ability to make sense of all that information. So being able to use AI to look at risk profiles of cities, so resources can be distributed more effectively to different parts of the city based on the hazard thresholds. So advanced analytics, become a very interesting part of the future of this roadmap. And then lastly, what I'll say is, the understanding of how fires work is still somewhat primitive. There's something called flow path, which is, the precursor to flashover conditions, which is a very scary, threat that firefighters face when they go into a fire. No one really knows exactly, what the conditions are that create that scenario, but it's a instantaneous combustion of the gases and the smoke itself. So being able to predict things like that based on a series of precursors that we might be able to interpret in real time are among the many things that we can do now that we have a supercomputer in the fire. So the sky is the limit. We've been living in a analog world, and I think we are now moving into a very exciting new era of firefighting and emergency response that I would imagine will carry forward many new ideas. And many of those ideas are things that we probably haven't even thought of yet, but it's ideas that will likely come from partners like the city of Turlock, who will shape that for the rest of the country.
Thank you. Is there any last words you have, Chief?
That's it. We just appreciate council's support. We feel like it's a product we can stand behind, and we're excited to put it in our firefighters' hands. You would like to?
Yeah. My name's Nick Howe.
Oh, sorry.
I just got, if we move forward with this, what is the time to implement and have on the rigs?
I think that Sam can probably speak a little bit to that, but I mean, their goal is to try to get it in our hands as soon as possible. I think it's a matter of putting it on schedules and getting it out here. But I mean, Sam, if you have a better timeline, or Mel.
Yes, I can speak to that. So we have it pretty well mapped out at this point, because we've done this now a number of times. From the time that the purchase order comes in to the time that it shows up on your docks, you're looking at roughly 6 weeks. And then, because everything gets billed to order here in the United States, in Idaho, which is where our manufacturing facility is. As soon as it arrives on your docks, we'll be there to receive it. We'll send our team locally to work with the fire department and conduct a train the trainer and put the group on a fairly accelerated training initiative that takes about 4 weeks before the devices are actually live being used on the rigs. And so, from soup to nuts, from the time the purchase order gets, issued to the time, hopefully these devices will be getting used out in the wild, is about, 8 to 10 weeks.
Thank you.
I'm sorry, did you want to say something?
Yeah. All right.
Come on.
Mayor, city staff, on behalf of the local 2434, we want to say thank you for your commitment to firefighter safety and your potential approval of funding for this new helmet technology. We do appreciate your willingness to invest in new technology and tools that better help us support our mission in protecting the community and the citizens of Turlock. So I just want to say thank you.
Thank you. No pressure now.
I wanted to make a comment. I was invited to attend the not training. What's the right word for that?
Presentation.
The presentation, yes, where the firefighters got to try this out and city staff got to try it out, and I'm very appreciative of the technology and the innovation and the work that a startup like Quake is going to be doing. And I have some concerns about this. It's my understanding that this all came together very quickly, and I personally would like our fire department to have an opportunity to at least test out what else is in the market space. Although I do trust you that, this is a great product. And of course, we want you to have everything that is going to, keep you safe and keep everyone else safe. But, the speed with which that this came through is hard for me to kind of to rectify with, meanwhile, it's been over 3 years since we've had the Citygate study that came out, and that study was something that the council commissioned to have our fire department evaluated and list out what are our goals for the near term and the long term. And we've not been making the kind of progress that I would like to see on those goals, particularly when it comes to advanced life support and for the public, advanced life support on our fire departments. That's, advanced medical techniques that when our fire department is going out and handling those emergency medical calls, they're going to be better able to save constituents' lives. And, when that's 65 to 70% of what of the calls that the fire department is making, for me, that this is just not the right item at the right time. So I'm not going to be able to support this tonight, but if it comes into your hands, I think that it's a great thing, and I hope that we can start chipping away at all of those other goals as well.
I'll go ahead and say that it came to me. I brought it to fire. Said, "What do you guys think?" It's up to you. I don't fight fire, so I'm curious. And this is money that is going to be use it or lose it as of the 31st of December. So while we say that we want to help and save lives, this is one of those things where the public needs to understand we could save the firefighter's life, our family's life, any resident or visitor for that matter, just that quickly on something from the COVID money. And I'd hate to lose an opportunity waiting for somebody else to work through these things when this is the kind of stuff that they get the most out of. They're going to probably save their time in the worst conditions. And for me, I think that's like a no-brainer. If you want to wait, that money's gone. So if you think that it's better to take it out of somewhere else, let me know. But for me, I think this is that opportunity that we have right now. And I'm not invested in this. I only brought it forward because Sam sent me an email, so I sent it to the chief, and here we are. So I'm not going to get $1 out of this. I'm sure somebody expects that to be the case, but it's not. So with that, I'm going to make a motion to approve.
Second.
Okay, call the roll, please.
Councilmember Abram?
No.
Councilmember Bixel?
Yes.
Councilmember Phillips?
Yes.
Mayor Bublak?
You're not waiting for. Yes, it passes with a 3-1. Thank you, gentlemen. Thank you,
Thank you
Mr.
very much.
Kosman. And we'll move on to the next item, which is item B, approving an agreement in form approved by the city attorney, Stan Cog, and REAP funds. And, oh, look who's going to be here, Director Werner.
Good evening, Mayor Bublak and council members and staff and members of the public. I'm coming to you kind of the second time around for allocation for our REAP 2.0 funding. I appeared before you in August to ask for approval to submit our application to StanCog that would be forwarded on to HCD for some funding that was allocated through the REAP program. We were eligible for $454,769 to help us with the criteria that is established in the application of meeting housing and equity goals, reduced vehicle miles traveled, and advanced implementation for sustainable communities. At the time that we made our application, we identified a couple of projects that would meet that criterion and allow us to be eligible for that funding. Again, this is the breakdown of the funding that would be sub-allocations to the cities in the county. As you can see, we're right at the top with Modesto receiving almost $800,000. So what the two projects that we identified were to have a master plan to start a master plan of annexing our county islands. And what that master plan entails would be identifying out of those 7 county islands, which are mainly single-family homes, what infrastructure needs to be done, it's gonna look at utilities, what's out there now, what do we need to do, as far as long-term in getting those properties, developed. Part of that process with the master plan would also be annexing those properties into the city limits. Currently, they are surrounded by the city, but they're county pockets that, somehow during the annexation process years ago, they got left behind, mainly because during the annexation process, if 50% or more of the property owners voted not to be annexed, then those properties didn't get annexed. So that's how we are left with these county islands. That's not unusual. There are several communities throughout the state that have little pockets of county islands. I live in Outwater. We've got a couple of county pockets as well. But they're out throughout the state, and they kind of have the same challenges that they have to somehow be annexed at some point in time. Part of the master plan will identify, a phasing, probably a phasing schedule of potentially what would be do we annex them all at the same time? Is there a schedule to do the larger or the smaller, and what are those benefits? So that's something that we'll be working with the consultant as we move forward to annex those properties. The other project that is part of that will also address the funding is to do some zoning amendments and updates and programs that are going through our existing housing element. So we're working toward that now, but about $85,000 of the $454,000 would be allocated to the second program that would help us finalize the zoning and amendments that are needed for the housing element. And also with that is the contract that we're asking to approve with Diet and Batia. They are continuing to work with us with our housing element, and this is just an extension of that, so that's why we're asking for them to continue that work on and getting us through the housing element as well as with the master plan. The other thing with the master plan is it's identified in our general plan that we will start annexing, start the process to get those county islands annexed. This is the first step of really identifying what's out there and what do we need to do to move forward to start the annexation process. So, do you have any questions?
I have a couple of questions. So where are we at with the county doing their due diligence for the 1-year gear? They were supposed to take the COVID funds and take that one, they assigned themselves to that one specific area. Where are we at with that? Because it's their money, it's their land until we take it, right?
Yes. Are you talking about the improvements that
they were supposed to get it all improved before we would take the
right
island, or ask for it?
There is, yes, there is I've seen the improvement plans. I believe like the Kenwood Star area.
Yes.
That they have started those. We've gone back and forth. I don't believe those have been completely approved through our engineering department. There's still some things that are outstanding with that. So I have seen those and they are moving forward. But even with that, and if they do the improvements to our standards, they would still have to go through the process of annexation, which,
right.
Those improvements would be identified in the master plan of, hey, this section has curb, gutter, and sidewalk, or whatever improvements we are putting in. So it would identify other improvements that may be needed throughout the particular island, that particular county island. But it would also address what's there.
The money that we spent in our personnel doing the engineering and everything for that star area, is that going to be covered in this kind of thing, or did we just eat that even though we may not annex it?
No, that the money that I don't know of any monies that we've received for the.
But our personnel are doing work.
We're reviewing the plans that the county has, yeah, so that's just staff reviewing
Gotcha.
the county plans.
Okay.
So it's not any, other than just something that we want them to do.
Right.
But no, there's been no expenditure of dollars for their plans, that we're just reviewing their plans to make sure that they're what we want when in the future when we do annex them.
Gotcha. Any other questions? Okay, we'll open it to public. Anyone wishing to speak on this item? Milt?
I view this as a great opportunity and something we really need to do. Obviously, we've been trying to get the islands in the city of Turlock back in, or into the city. It's to our advantage to get this completed, and I realize this is just the first step, but there are other steps. I do have a couple questions here. In my understanding, if there's a fire or a police event in these islands right now, it's our department that answers these fire and police calls. Is that not, or is that true or not true? So that would be my first question. If everything went smoothly, how long would it be before they would actually become part of our city? So, what would be the time frame? And thirdly, about how much more money would be spent to complete this? And then I just have a comment. This is an opportunity. I mean, this gives us additional land, and it's an opportunity to do something too, and that is to grow up. Turlock is just a flat city. We don't want that here in this valley because we're surrounded by the best farmland in the world. So we have the vistas, which is a 4-story complex. I would like to see these infill areas be accommodatable to 3-story, 4-story, and 5-story condos and apartment complexes, so that we can really get this moving up into the air accomplished, and not just me talking about it. So my questions and then just my comment. Thank you.
Anyone else wishing to make a statement or questions on this? Okay, we'll close public comment. All right, public safety in islands is?
I'm going to leave that to the chief to address.
We do not provide police services in the county islands, animal services, anything like that, any type of city services from the police department on county islands.
So we would incur more personnel needed to do that then?
We would, yes.
Fire, sir? Right, gotcha. Okay, so how soon would we be able to take over these islands should everything work out?
So, like I said, this is the master plan. This is the first step. Based on the time frame with HCD and STANCOG, the master plan has to go through the process of being adopted by the end of next year, December 31st of 2026. After that comes really more of a discussion that would happen at a higher level with the council and county that has gone on for several years of how we're going to annex that, how, there's some cost sharing that we may have. What are we going to share the cost of the improvements? Those type of discussions would be happening. So that's something that, we would probably want to talk to as we're going through the process of seeing where that timeline is with our consultant, with our council, seeing what that's going to look like. So really putting a time frame for annexation is hard because there's a lot of discussion that has to go on with that. What I can say is a typical annexation, like when we've annexed like the Pittman area, that's usually about a 12-month process to get through, commission, plant, the council, and LAFCO. So you're looking at 12 to 18 months once you get everything in place. But there's a lot of discussion that has to happen before the annexation actually takes place.
And then I'm sorry, one more question. How much more money than what the grant is it gonna just say for one of these islands?
So the grant is only for the preparation of the master plan.
Right.
So anything, the cost of annexation after that, typically when we're annexing land, the city usually has the cost of the preparation, the staff time that's going to handle that. There's not an additional couple $100,000 that we have to pay in order to annex it, but it is going to take staff time, hearing time, those type of things. So it would be that there is a LAFCO application. I'm not quite sure what that would be because they do it based on size, and so it's like we're not there yet, but there would be those costs of staff time and
Does the county pay for the additional fire and police personnel?
currently, or
When we accept an island?
I think that's a discussion we would want to have. That's one of those discussions we're going to have along the way.
Okay. Question, sir?
I'm just curious, what is the total population represented by those islands, or approximately, do you know? Is there a-
I don't know. There are some vacant lands, but there are also some smaller homes in there, but I don't know the population is.
When we're talking about, future annexation and like the costs for services and whatnot, are annexations like this with the county any different than, annexations where you have to go into CFD 3 or 2 or whatever number we're at yet?
Yes, they are. So CFD2, which comes to you quite frequently, those are for any kind of discretionary permit or that's going through our planning or engineering that's going to have an effect to build more houses. So if they're going to split a residential lot into a subdivision or just 2 lots, or any of our permits that allow residential, those have to annex into the CFD2 to help pay for parks, fire, police, those type of services. CFD3 is very similar, but I believe those are for the landscaping, the roads, those type of things. So this annexation is just bringing the property in, and it's bringing, what we end up doing is we end up bringing property in as it is. But one of the discussions that have gone on in the past and that we're hoping, we'll probably have in the future is, having those, because a lot of the county islands don't have curb gutter and sidewalk. They, their improvements are less than what we would want to take on. So a big discussion is, how are we going to share that cost, or if we're going to share that cost? So that's something that's going to be down the road.
All right.
I will move to approve.
I just have one comment real quick.
I'm so sorry.
No, that's okay. That's okay. I have a little bit of a problem with how it's playing out a little bit, because I think that having this same company that was part of something else kind of just roll into this makes me really uncomfortable. So I won't vote for this like this. I'm willing to vote for it if we promise that we're about to open the general plan up and actually do a bid for that, so that we have other companies come to the table.
So just to clarify, I turned it off. So just to clarify, you do not support this because we're using the consultant that we are already using for all of these other projects?
Correct.
And, okay, so, and just to clarify tonight, Director Werner, if this does not pass tonight, we do not get the $400,000.
Correct.
And this is also for not just the annexation funds, but also funding to do the other projects for our housing elements.
Right, there's a
that we're very
second-
behind on, right?
Correct.
Okay.
There's a second, the 85, there's a second piece to the project that would help finish the rezoning and of the properties and addressing those programs that are in the housing element as well.
Can I make a comment? When we get ready to do the general plan, we have to go out to bid for the consultant to do that. We couldn't roll, based on our current fiscal guidelines, to use this agency automatically. Is that a fair
That's
thing to say?
correct.
So
So
we
when-
would go out to bid.
Yeah, so when we do start our general plan update, which will probably be within the next 18 to 24 months, we would go out for an RFP for a bid, soliciting other consultants on preparing our housing element, so.
My point of contention is that this entity was for housing. We're not doing housing. This is something totally different. So I feel like we just keep rolling over and using same companies, and that's not necessarily fair. They may be the only one, but I like the idea that we keep opening it back up and see if there's others to do things.
Yeah, and I think your point is well taken. However, I think we have a relationship with these folks and we have to, this is under a time crunch, so I still have a motion on the floor.
I'll second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Call the roll, please.
Councilmember Abram?
Yes.
Councilmember Vixel?
Yes.
Councilmember Phillips?
No.
Mayor Bublak?
No. Okay, it didn't pass. If you're willing to add my thing, we can do it, but I don't want to be rude about the entity. I can go on, but I'm trying to be polite and professional about why I don't want them. But if you need me to, I'm happy to air my dirty laundry or the city's dirty laundry. Or we can just let it go and it didn't pass. What is the will?
So you want to have a different vendor for this particular
Nope.
amount?
I just want to make sure that you give me your agreement now that we will go out for a bid on the other. I want it a
Yeah.
commitment now.
Yeah.
Because this shouldn't have rolled like this in my mind.
Okay, yeah, and I mean, I believe the city manager just gave us that commitment that we have to go out for a bid.
She gave it to us. She doesn't vote.
That's part of our fiscal policy, is that not what you just
Well,
said?
that would have been this one too.
Isaac? Yeah,
Yep.
and you might talk about why this one goes to these guys.
I think, kind of talking about this project alone, as far as what they're implementing, this is a sliver of the overall general plan, right? They've have a lot of the data already. I think it was a little more simplistic to kind of roll in this process. When you're talking about the general plan, you're talking about hundreds of thousands of dollars. That's something that we are going to bid out to formal bid. One, to get the best quality product out of the whole thing, also to get your best pricing of the overall structure. So it behooves us to be able to make a more formal process to make sure we just don't roll into something we're already doing. That's just best practices overall, right? So yes, this is a piece of the overall process that goes into that document, but the overall general process would, at a finance will formally be, you need to put this out. You really do, given the magnitude of the overall project, to make a fair and competitive process.
So Director Moreno, in a perfect world, the fact that they were for housing and this is just annexations and we're not talking about housing per se, couldn't we have gone out to bid on this too?
Yes, you could.
Okay.
If you want to vet the project overall as far as a consultant, you really look at qualifications. What have you done similar? What have you done on the overall? So you vet it a little bit more in that process in a sense too as well.
Understood. Okay,
So
is there somewhere?
So Diane and Batia, they're not only doing our housing element, they are regional planners. So this is what they do. And they do general plan updates. So, they've done our general update in the past, but they're also doing the housing element because it's an element of the general plan. As Isaac said, and as you pointed out, they do have a lot of the data. We don't have the time crunch to go out for bid. We would have lost that. We would have lost 6 months before we even got into being able to do that, so.
Sorry, you asked.
I just need an agreement from my colleagues that you understand that, yes, they said they'll go out to bid, but we have heard that millions of times about different things that it doesn't happen. And so I want to make sure that you're all saying that. Is it?
Well, I think it's up to us to make sure it happens.
Understood. I'm asking for your commitment publicly.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I got no problem with that.
Yeah, and I will absolutely commit to, deferring to city staff to go through our normal process on this. And, I think back to just not moments ago, but this is a use it or lose it situation. So I think that, we need to move forward with this as it is stated because of the time crunch and because we should not miss out on these funds for our city. We're going to have to do this eventually. And if it doesn't come from this, it's going to have to come from the general fund. So, procedurally, and, we have our deputy city attorney here with only 4 of us up here, and that was not a vote that did not pass. From what party, yay versus nay, does the alternate motion need to come from?
You phone a friend?
Maybe our city clerk can chime in for us here.
You'll need to do a move to reconsider, and it'll have to be from one of the two parties that failed the item,
The no's.
the no's. So
The
it need
nays.
to come from Mayor Bublak or Councilmember Phillips.
Okay, I love the use it or lose it. I like touche. That's awesome. But I really want to strongly advise you that I've been through a whole general plan here. I've been here long enough to have the history, and I'm gonna tell you that there are just certain things that I really have a problem with this entity, and I want to make sure that we are absolutely watching everything from this point on. I'm not saying our staff. I'm saying this entity. So that's where my huge concern came from, and I want to make sure that everybody understands. I'm happy to do this, but we could have long ago done something different, right? We had them for just a part, and then we were starting to look towards the next general plan, which this is about, and we already looped them in. That makes me just a little uncomfortable. That's why I wanted to say this. So, having said that, I would reconsider the vote, understanding, Dr. Brago, that you guys will be going out to bid soon. So that's my motion.
We'll be going out to bid sometime soon.
I will second that motion, and I would like to just maybe probe a little bit more on what you mean by we will go out to bid soon, because I will agree to that we will follow our procedures and go out to bid and pick the most appropriate and qualified person to lead that project.
So here's where I come down in this project of the general plan. And Adrian, I've talked a little bit about this. I want to back time it so that we fall within the timeline that it takes to get this done and we're not late. You remember right now, we're dealing with an HCD plan that is several years late. So we will go out to bid for this, for the general plan, based on the timeline of when we need to have it complete. And that's something that's evolving now.
Our general plan goes through 2030.
Right.
So you typically, it's usually anywhere from about a 3-year process to get through the process of getting it adopted. So we would be going out to, we would start the RFP process and begin that process probably late 26.
I reiterate my second. I was going to say second my second, but yeah.
How many seconds do you want? You want to do 2, Kim? All right, so we have a motion and a second.
And to clarify, it is to reconsider and pass the motion, the original motion on the table.
Correct.
Councilmember Abram.
Yes.
Councilmember Vixel.
Yes.
Councilmember Phillips.
Yes.
Mayor Bublak.
Yes, it's gonna pass with 4-0. Thank you, Ms. Warner. All right, we have another item, and I believe it's Money Man's turn. I could care less. They did us wrong, bad wrong.
Do we still have the Zoom on?
Sure.
Is the Zoom still on?
You can watch it.
Do you wanna-
Good evening.
Good evening again, Honorable Mayor and Council members. The item we have before you today is our fiscal year audit presentation for the fiscal year 23-24. Just kind of give you a general overview before I turn it to our auditing firm. So today's item gets the city into full compliance with our financial statements. And what does that mean? I want to backstep a little bit to give you a little history of what we've been trying to deal with. So one of the items that I brought before you when I brought the last item, or the last financial statements, is really what the objective of the finance department is for the city. When you have financial findings within your audit, it's critical that you address those findings, right? So what you're going to see today is a product of those steps to be able to clarify and fix those findings, whether that's putting procurement policies in place, whether that's putting task and parts as far as process and procedures, controls around financial mechanisms like cash. All these things need to be implemented to be able to get us to where we are today, which I'm happy to produce that we have no findings within this audit. This has put us back on track, and as our auditing firm, Brown Armstrong, it will now produce the information and give you clarifying information on what that all looks like.
Thank you very much, Isaac, for the warm welcome. Just for the record, my
Turn
name is
it from-
Neeraj Datta, and I'm a certified public accountant and audit partner with Brown Armstrong. So, I believe like in your package, you have like all the reports with you. So our annual financial report.
Can you
which
lean
is-
into, thank you.
So the annual financial report, which has been prepared by your management, Isaac and his team, that is there. And our role was to give our opinion on these financial statements, whether they are fairly stated and has been prepared in accordance with US GAAP. So our opinion is there on page number 1 to 3. It's a clean opinion, unmodified opinion. So it's the highest form of opinion any external auditor can provide. So congratulations for that. Again, it's 130 pages of report. I'm sure you probably have already gone through it, so I'm not going to repeat each and every item of that. But as Isaac mentioned, there are no findings. So it's a clean report. And your city being a governmental organization, so other than the AICPA standards, like the American Institute of Certified Public Accountants, we also follow the governmental auditing standards in preparation of these financial statements. That is commonly known as Yellow Book, which you all are well aware of it. So that Yellow Book requires us to issue a few additional reports other than our opinion. So those reports are also there in your package. First one is the Statement of Auditing Standards 114 letter, SAS 114. This is the required communications which any external auditor needs to do with the people who are in charge of the governance, which is the council in this particular case. There are a few items which are mentioned there. We have to report to you if you have any disagreements with the management. We have none. Any corrected or uncorrected misstatements, if we propose any adjusting journal entry to the financial statements, we are required to report it to you. There is none. And there are no findings, as I mentioned. So overall, like, that report is clean. So if you go through it, it has like few other matters which talks about the estimates which have been utilized in preparation of the financial statements, any disclosures. They are very similar than the prior years. Nothing significant changed in the current year. So that report is there. Again, it's a clean report. So for that, again, congratulations. We also have 4 additional reports, like the ancillary reports, which we call, which are actually in the main annual financial report, but various agencies want separate report for that, like Transportation Development Act requires us to give separate report for the grants which you have received for your transportation area. So that report is sent to the Department of Transportation too. Again, it's a clean report. Our opinion is unmodified in that area too. Any grants, any federal grants which you receive, and if it exceeds like the threshold of $750,000 for 2014, requires a separate single audit. So you have one program, which is a major program, you got that additional grant which exceeded the threshold. So we have performed a separate single audit for that particular program. That report is with you. Again, it's unmodified opinion, no finding in the current year. There is a finding in the prior year which we already gone through. We suggested to revise your procurement policy, which you already approved just now. So that thing has been taken care of. We also issued a Public Finance Authority report. Again, no findings in that, so everything is clear on that. So with that said, like, all the reports in the current year are good. So last year you had 2 findings. We had gone through it. Those findings have been taken care of, so nothing has been repeated. This year we had been timing-wise much better than the prior year. So we finished 2014. We already started the planning for 2015. So hopefully we will finish the next year audit within the time. So 25 ones. So.
I was like, wait, what?
So 1 year back. So in closing, I would just like to extend my sincere appreciation to Isaac and his team. They have been wonderful. We really enjoyed working with them. So hopefully we'll continue. So. With that, I can just conclude my presentations and be happy to take any questions or comments the council has.
Mr. Moreno, you and your team got a A+ report card.
I gave all my staff gold stars.
Any questions for him? Okay, let's open it to the, I'm sorry, open it to the public. Come on up.
Hi, I was just wondering, will the audit report be released to the public, and if so, when?
Yeah, after tonight, it'll actually be placed on the city's website as required of us.
Bob?
Okay, so this is for the year end, June 30th, 2024. And it's now November 2025. do these financial statements need to go out to any government entities or anything like that? That by being late, and I don't know when the time they need to be reported to them, is the city going to incur any fines or penalties? First off. Second, what was the reason for taking 15 months to do the audit? And is it going to be quicker for the June 30th, 2025 audit? Thank you.
Anyone else wishing to speak? Okay, we're going to close public comment, and Mr. Marino.
Thank you. So I've kind of addressed that, why the time, and it really take a lot of process and procedures to be implemented to get us to where we are as a clean audit. I stressed this back in the prior meetings. You can work your audits, get it through it, but you're going to end up with findings because you don't clean up the back end. So we've been doing our due diligence to clean up the back end to get us where we are today. So the next part of the question is really about when's our next one coming? Again, we are in full compliance at this point. We're already working the 24-25 in process. So we're already giving that information, doing final entries to make sure we are in full compliance, which the end date was going to be March. The end of March is where you really need to be. So we are targeted to get that completed within a target that we need to be.
Another component of the question was, did having this come at this time hold us up from anything, incur any problems, et cetera?
It really didn't hold us up. I mean, our audits are behind. The only thing that's being held currently is really Stancock, and that's the TDA funds. Once they receive the resolution as of today, they will release those funds. All the other entities, as far as compliance with federal funds and things of that nature, they've already received the reports. There's no funds being withheld. So we'll move forward from there.
Any other questions, comments?
Move to approve.
Second.
A motion and a second. Will you call the roll, please?
Councilmember Abram?
Yes.
Councilmember Bixel?
Yes.
Councilmember Phillips?
Yes.
Mayor Bublak?
Yes.
Thank
Passed
you.
on 4-0. Thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you very much.
All right, approving agreement with Solid Networks for professional service with Microsoft, or is that Commodore 360? What are you doing there?
Commodore 64, yeah.
Going back, OG.
Going way back, yeah. All right, well, good evening, Honorable Mayor, Council, and members of the public. The item I have before you tonight is a request to approve an agreement with Solid Networks for the purchase of co-managed project support and professional services for Microsoft 365, which is Microsoft's cloud productivity suite of applications. This agreement supports the IT department in moving the city's email system into the Microsoft 365 cloud, which will allow staff to benefit from Microsoft's modern productivity and collaboration tools and increase efficiency across the organization. The IT department staff have been preparing the Microsoft 365 environment by synchronizing user access, assigning licenses, and configuring collaboration tools, with the email migration serving as the next major step in completing this transition. Solid Networks is a service and consulting firm headquartered in Salida, just north of us, that has strong cybersecurity qualifications. Solid Networks is a SOC 2 certified organization, which means an independent auditor has verified that the company meets rigorous standards for security and data protection. This certification is an industry benchmark for ensuring that a technology provider maintains strict safeguards over sensitive information. In addition to the certification, Solid Networks employs personnel with professional expertise and specialized technical backgrounds needed to integrate the city's existing cybersecurity layers, which includes our email security component, our threat detection tools, and our identity protections into our Microsoft cloud environment when we migrate over there. The team is experienced in aligning the city's existing tools with the cloud architecture, ensuring that the migration is secure, compatible with our existing safeguards, and follows best practices. Beyond the migration, Solid Networks will also provide lifecycle management services, keeping the city up to date with major Microsoft 365 developments and feature updates, and will advise on operational and cybersecurity best practices. The initial term of this agreement is for 3 years at a monthly rate of $4,690, which equates to $56,280 annually, with a 10% contingency to account for potential growth in our users and licensing, as well as if the environment grows. The total estimated cost for the 3-year term is approximately $186,000. So are there any questions?
Questions? No? Okay, let's open it to the public. Anyone wishing to ask a question about this? Okay, closing it to public comment, bring it back.
Move to approve.
Second.
Motion and a second. Will you call the roll, please?
Councilmember Abram?
Yes.
Councilmember Vixel?
Yes.
Councilmember Phillips?
Yes.
Mayor Bublak?
Yes, passes on 4-0. Thank you, Director.
Thank you.
All right, increase Turlock Partnership Incentive Program grant from $1,000 to $3,500 to better support new businesses. And look at who's here. Stepping up.
Good evening, Council and Mayor. Good evening, City staff and members of the community. We're very excited to have this program before you tonight concerning the Turlock Partnership Incentive Program, increasing the per business grant amount from $1,000 per business to $3,500 to qualifying businesses. This is in an effort to better support new startups and entrepreneurial endeavors in our community. The program was established in the 2011-2012 fiscal year with the intent of revitalizing vacant business spaces and storefronts in our community, encouraging new business development and growth, and providing new local jobs for our community. The program provides a one-time grant issued in the form of a check to those businesses who qualify. And to qualify, to be eligible, they must have the following. They must occupy an existing vacant building within the city limits. They must provide a business plan for review, and if they need assistance with that, we have it at no cost through the Valley Sierra SBDC. They will participate in a no-cost pre-development meeting. They agree to simple record keeping and quarterly feedback for 1 year in an effort to improve the program. And they must not be a part of a franchise, nonprofit, or corporate chain. Historically, we've allocated $30,000 from TOT funds to this program. And if you're to increase the amount tonight, and if participation is high and increases, which we hope it is, to the point where funds are exhausted, we would come back to you with an update and ask for further direction. In the past, the number of grants awarded have ranged from 1 to 21 businesses per year, with recent years seeing a decline in participation with the inflation of the cost of doing business as well. So we're hoping that we'll see an increased participation, increased interest as we increase the amount as well. If a business would like to participate, the process would be as follows, and it is in this order. They would, one, apply for the grant, of course. They would submit their business plan for submission, attend their pre-development meeting, navigate the permitting and licensing process, open their business, and then finally they would attend a council meeting where we could present the check to them, help celebrate the accomplishment of opening a business in our community. We're really excited to begin marketing and promoting this program again. This is something we can promote in person at local events and information meetings. We can promote online through flyers and marketing efforts. And of course, we would promote it at our development services counter downstairs, where a lot of business owners start their entrepreneurial journey, inquiring about the process. We would have applications there as well. We'd have the application online. We'd carry it with our economic development staff to help resource community members if they're interested in that. It's a very straightforward application process, not strenuous, but we feel it's a really exciting opportunity to recruit new businesses to our community. It's a chance to provide an even better resource and a chance to encourage the entrepreneurial dream and the endeavor. It takes a lot of work and daring to start your own business, and so it would position us in a way to celebrate that, encourage that, and provide this as a resource. So thank you for your consideration, and we're here for any questions you may have.
Questions?
Yes, Mr. Spangler, so I'm hoping you can talk about how this program hopefully kind of aligns and supports with the other, I'm going to call it the business development program, the ARPA funds for marketing kind of things for businesses. And you know, if those two work together, I mean, really a new business in Turlock, how much support are they eligible for?
Sure, absolutely. From what I understand, all of our programs should work in tandem. Some of them have a different target audience or a different end result in mind. In my mind, this is a program that is specifically tailored to startups. It's very specific. Whereas the ARPA funds are open, we can use those funds for any business in the community. We have the freedom, and I won't speak too in depth to those requirements, but we're able to pursue other ventures with that, whereas this is a long-standing program that initially saw a lot of success And our thought, it's like any good marketing campaign. You don't have a definite answer, but you read the signs, you play detective, and you see what may or may not be causing the symptoms you're seeing. And so with the decline, we're really believing that it could be an inflation of costs. What we've heard is that the $1,000 may not be worth even going through the process, but with a $3,500 distribution to the businesses, we're hoping that will increase participation. And remind me if I've missed some of your points there, but I think that it should complement our businesses. This is just a very specific avenue and goal in mind.
Sure, yeah, I mean, I just wanted to provide an opportunity for us to talk about with this increased funding, should this pass tonight, there is also other funds available that these new businesses would be eligible for another, is $1,500. Yeah, I mean, thank you.
That marketing project is completed. And so we notified people earlier, earlier in the fall, that process was completed. We had everybody turn in their outstanding receipts, and then we used that money for the Shop Turlock program, what was left in that. This is separate from that, and then in probably January, we'll come back with a larger business incentive program that Isaac and Katie put together to substantially support new business.
Excellent. Sorry to throw you off track, but it sounds like more to come, so thank you.
Thank you for the question.
Other questions? All right, let's open it to public. Anyone wishing to speak on this item? Okay, we'll close it, bring it back real quick. It's amazing to think that 17 years ago we started this, and that's $1,000. I remember when I was telling people in Canada when my husband was living there about, we just give them $1,000, and it's only for advertisement and things of that nature. It can't be used for permitting and things of that nature. That's illegal. And they're like such a moderate amount, but we had such a huge take for it during 2008. It went so well, and the programming of having somebody decide where they want to have their location, what they're going to sell, so that they make sure that their business is successful. It's been crazy how many of them are still here. Like I would say 90% are still in position. So I'm thankful for this opportunity to make it even better. I didn't dream that we'd be putting this much money into it when I came up with the idea 17 years ago. So I'm happy to see this. I think that there are a lot of businesses that are like, hey, I just opened. Well, that's not what we do. We're going to work it for all these vacancies so that we can keep those. I hope to see a lot of different things coming forward in the future to help other businesses, more lighting, things of that nature, to keep everybody safe and having businesses attracted. But for this, I would make the motion.
And I will second.
Motion and a second. Call the roll, please. You can do that.
Councilmember Abram?
Yes.
Councilmember Pixel?
Yes.
Councilmember Phillips?
Yes.
Mayor Bublak?
Yes, it passes on 4-0. Thank you, Mr. Spangler. Good job. All right, council member comments and announcements and future items.
Just comments. Thank you to all the staff who worked on the Veterans Day event. That was very nice. And, happy Thanksgiving to our Turlock residents and staff. And the Christmas parade is coming up very soon. December is almost upon us. And I just noticed as a, normal resident out in the wild that the fire truck Santa map is out, and my family tracks that so we can put it on our calendar. So I encourage you to go do the same.
I too would like to wish everybody a happy, healthy Thanksgiving. Remind everybody to eat, drink, shop, and be merry in Turlock early and often.
I'd like to say happy Thanksgiving to everybody. I'm thankful for everybody here and the city staff of City Hall for everything that you guys do. Chief Evans and the fire department, thank you guys for everything that you guys do for our city. Chief Haddon, I'm not sure where he's at, but I'd like to thank him and his department as well. Sometimes we don't get to thank him enough, so I just wanted to acknowledge everything that you guys do for our town, so thank you.
Ditto on all of that. Is it Debbie Downer? One of the people that sat on our Measure L and the CDBG, Derek Domi, recently passed, young gentleman at 60. So just prayers for him and his family as they put him to rest tomorrow morning. Huge coup for CSU men's soccer. That's the first time they've ever done this in the history of men's soccer at Stanislaus. So they get a bye on Friday, but on Sunday at 3 p.m., anybody who can get out there and support them, they'll probably be playing, I think it's Hilo, or who's the other one, do you remember? Anyway, thanks for the help. I think it's Azusa Pacific, but not sure. Anyhow, that was huge. And then volleyball's also they're hosting their conference at Stanislaus, so they'll be there on Friday. And tree lighting's coming up the day after Thanksgiving, so make sure you're out there. And I've heard that it could snow. That's what I've heard. We have closed session.
Yes, we have 13A, Conference with Legal Counsel, Anticipated Litigation, California Government Code 549569D2, Potential Cases 1, and B, Conference with Labor Negotiations, California Government Code 549576A, Agency Designated Representative, Interim City Manager, Superego, Employee Organizations, Turlock Management Association, Public Safety, and Turlock Associated Police Officers.
Okay, so do you know what you're doing, Ms. Yonan? Just follow us. All right, we will report out should there be anything. If not, happy Thanksgiving. Yeah, what happened, man? Right? And we're back from closed session. There's nothing to report out. Happy Thanksgiving.
Yay.